Hello students. So today we will study atomic structure question part 1. Disclaimer: the images used in our slide deck are for educational purposes only. We respect the intellectual property rights of the original creators and owners of these images. If you are the owner of any of the images used in this deck and have any concerns or issues, please contact us at sathi@iitk.ac.in and we shall remove the images. So what we will do is we will practice questions. So there will be 9 questions. We'll practice them one by one and also see the explanation behind those correct answers. Question number 1. Question number 1 says that the radii of an atom and atomic nucleus is of the order. Options are 10 to the power minus 12 and 10 to the power minus 10 meter. So this is for A. 10 to the power minus 10 centimeter and 10 to the power minus 8 centimeter. Option B. Option C, 10 to the power minus 10 meter and 10 to the power minus 15 meter. Option D, 10 to the power minus 15 meter and 10 to the power minus 10 meter. So you have 10 seconds to solve this question. Your time starts now. Okay, now let us see how can we solve this question. So first of all, let us try to understand this question. So the question is basically saying here that you have to predict the radii of an atom and atomic nuclei. So you have to predict the order, right? So order means, suppose if you are taking something which is, suppose you are considering a Planck's constant, right? So it is 6.6 into 10 to the power minus 34, 36 according to the unit. Now this thing that we are getting, the 10 to the power minus 34 or 36, that thing is mentioned as order of order. Okay, so that thing is order of that given value. Now here, what is the correct answer? So the correct answer is 10 to the power minus 10 meter and 10 to the power minus 15 meter for atomic nucleus. So the same thing is been mentioned here also. Now you will think that this question is completely informative, but it is not the case, and it has a very simple logic behind its answer. So we know very well that atoms are larger in size because nucleus is something which is inside that atom. So nucleus at radii will be always smaller than the atom radii. Therefore, we will take that option where your atomic nucleus is smaller, and that option is only 10 to the power minus 10 meter and 10 to the power minus 15 meter, which is option C. Next question number 2. So it is said that your atoms consist of electron, protons, and neutrons. If the mass attributed to neutron is halved and that attributed to the electron is doubled, the atomic mass of 2Lc6 would be approximately. Options are A, same, B, doubled, C, halved, D, reduced by 25%. So you have 10 seconds to solve this question. Your time starts now. Okay, now let us try to solve this question. So first of all, what is the question that has been asked? So what is the meaning of this question? The question is saying that we have an atom, okay, and we know that atoms consists of electrons, protons, and neutrons. Now, the mass of an atom is a contribution from electrons, protons, and neutrons. All of these three contribute to the mass of the atom. Now, what we are doing is we are changing the mass of this subatomic particles. So what we are doing is by changing the mass of the neutron to its half value. Okay, so if it suppose its value is 4, then we are keeping it to 2. So that is the thing that we are doing. And at the same time, the electron mass is being doubled. Okay, so it is being doubled. Now it is asked that what will be the atomic weight of or atomic mass of 12C6 carbon atom approximately. So you have to find a relation between the initial value and a final value that you have obtained upon changing the weight of subatomic particles, that is electrons and neutrons. Now, the correct option is first of all reduced by 25%. How we will find it? So initially we have calculated the mass of, say, your carbon atom. So what it will be? It will be 6 plus 6, 12. This is also mentioned here also, right? Now we are doing two things. First of all, we are doubling the mass of electron, and second thing, we are keeping the mass of neutron half. Okay, taking the half of the initial value. Now, since the contribution from electron is very, very less as compared to your proton and neutron, you must have studied this multiple times that the mass of electron is negligible. For that reason, the change that we have done in the mass of electron has almost negligible effect on the mass of the overall atom. So, as a result, we are now only considering what? We are only considering the change that is being attributed by the change in mass of neutron. So, since we have since we have cut the mass of neutron to its half, therefore the mass due to proton is same, that is 6, but the mass due to neutron has now been converted to 3, which is half of this 6, right? So this is the final mass now, that is 6 plus 3, and this is the initial mass, 6 plus 6. Okay, so we have taken this. Now we will calculate the relation between them. So we have taken the percentage, right? So this is 9, this is the final value, and this is the initial value, that is 9 by 12. Okay, multiplied by 100, which gives us 75%. So this mass that we have obtained is 75% of the initial value. That means 25% is the mass that has been reduced. So therefore, the mass of the atomic as a carbon 12 atom has been reduced by 25%. So this is your answer. Next, question number 3. So question number 3 says that many elements have non-integral atomic masses because options are their isotopes have same number of neutrons, their isotopes have non-integral masses. Option C, they exist as isotopes. And option D, their constituent neutrons, protons, and electrons combine to give fractional masses. So, you have 10 seconds to solve this question. Your time starts now. Okay, now let us see the answer. So, what is the question that has been asked? The question that has been asked that you will find sometimes that the mass of element is integral, but it is not possible if you consider the general case, because in case of atomic mass, what we do is we simply count the number of proton and your neutron, and that number is equals to the atomic mass. So this is the thing that we do. But we will see in some elements like in chlorine that the mass is taken as 35.5. And you know that the counting number cannot be half, right? You cannot have half neutron or half proton. So what is the reason behind this non-integral, say, atomic mass? So that is being asked here. So the correct option is C, which is they exist as isotopes. Now, what is the reason behind this reason? What is the reason that existing of isotopes have done the mass equals to non-integral number? The reason is that so whenever an element have several isotopes, we need to get their contribution, or we need to consider their contribution, right? In doing so, what we do? In doing so, we take the average mass, average atomic mass of the different isotopes in accordance with the relative abundance, and that thing which we get comes out to be non-integer, right? So when we take average, there may be a chance that we don't get the whole number, and we get the non-integral values. Clear? So this is the reason behind it, which is the existence of isotopes. Now, next question. So question number 4. Question number 4 says that Rutherford's alpha particle scattering experiment eventually concluded that option number A, mass and energy are related. Option number B, neutrons are buried deep inside the nucleus. Option number C, electrons occupy space around the nucleus. Option number D, the point of impact with matter can be precisely determined. So what is the thing that can be concluded? You have 10 seconds to solve this question. Your time starts now. Okay, now let us try to solve this question. First of all, what is the question? The question says that we have to see that which of the given statements that were given in the previous slide is a result of the alpha particle scattering experiment. So the correct answer is, first of all, electrons occupy space around the nucleus. So this is the reason that the alpha particle scattering experiment suggested that, or convicted that, your electrons are the one which occupy the space around the nucleus. So how we can say this? So we can say this because we have seen that the majority of alpha particle which we were illuminating on this gold foil, most of them penetrated through the metal foil, okay, without any deflection. They have gone straight through it. Okay, now the only reason that they have gone straight through it, that the most of the is that the most of the atom must occupy the empty space by the lightweight electron. So this is the reason. If there were not electrons around the nucleus or some other particle, or instead it can be the case that proton can be outside the nucleus, then they are very massive particles, and the alpha particles that we have projected on this gold foil must have been deflected, or it can be reflected also at the same time. But it was not the case, because these electrons are the only one which can show this observation, as they're lightweight, okay, and they allow the passage of these alpha particles in a straight line. Clear? Moving on to next question. Question number 5. Question number 5 says that a photon of light of wavelength 6000 angstrom has energy E. What will be the wavelength of photon of a light which has energy of photon 4E? Options are A 1500 angstrom, option B 6000 angstrom, option C 2000 angstrom, and option D 750 angstrom. So let us see the solution. Before that, you have 10 seconds to solve this question. Your time starts now. Now let us try to solve this question. Before that, first we will try to understand this question. Okay, so what is the question been saying? It is saying that we have a photon which has a wavelength of 6000 angstrom and has energy E. Now, what will be the wavelength? So, if your energy is said to be 4 times the initial value, that is 4E, then what will be the wavelength then? So the correct option is A, which is 1500 angstrom. Now we know that E is equals to Hc by lambda. We know this relation very well. Then we can say that E is equals to 1 by 6000, right? Because Hc is constant, therefore we can say for this. Similarly, for E2, for whose wavelength is not predictable right now, we have taken this wavelength as lambda 2. So these are the two relations. E1 is directly proportional to 1 by 6000, and E2 is directly proportional to 1 by lambda 2. Now, if you divide both of this, then these things that are present, that is H and C, these both are constant and will get cancelled out. Therefore, E1 by E2 is equals to lambda 2 by 6000. Now, the value of E1 and E2 is also given. So, it is E for E1 and 4E for E2. Hence, on putting these values, we get lambda 2 value as 1500 angstrom. So, this is your final answer. Now, moving on to next question. What is question number 6? The question number 6 says that calculate the wavelength of helium atom whose speed is equals to root mean square speed at 293 Kelvin. The formula for Vrms is given as root under 3 RT by M, where R is your gas constant, T is your temperature, M is your molar mass, and Vrms is your root mean square velocity. Options are A 6.51 into 10 to the power minus 5, option B 7.38 into 10 to the power minus 5 nanometer, option C 7.96 into 10 to the power minus 5 nanometer, and option D none of this. So you have 10 seconds to solve this question. Your time starts now. Okay, now let us see the solution. So first of all, if you try to understand this question, it is being said that you are being given two things, right? So first thing that is given is the formula. Formula is given and you are given the temperature, right? So you have to calculate the wavelength of the helium atom, whose speed is equal to root mean square speed. So let us see how we can solve it. First of all, the correct answer is B. For those who have solved it is 7.38 into 10 to the power minus 5 nanometer. Now, what is the mass of one helium atom? It is 4 by n naught. Okay, so it is very simple because the mass of 1 mole of helium atom is 4 and 1 mole consists of 6.022 into 10 to the power 23 atom. Therefore, mass of one helium atom is 4 by 6.022 into 10 to the power 23. Right? Hence, also we know that V is equals to what? Root under 3 RT by M. Okay, so same thing is mentioned here. 3 RT by M, which is the molar mass. So we have converted this molar mass into kgs. So 4 into 10 to the power minus 3. Hence, this value comes out to be 1351.69 meter per second. Clear? Okay. Now, the thing which we have to calculate is your lambda, because it is told to calculate the wavelength. And we now know the de Broglie relationship, which is lambda is equals to h by mv. So if you put the value of h, it is 6.626 into 10 to the power minus 34. We know it. It's a constant. Then your mass will be this much. We have calculated the mass in this way. And your velocity is 1351.69. Clear? Okay. Now on doing this thing, we get the value of lambda as 7.38 into 10 to the power minus 5. So how do we get this value? Very simple. We have just used the formula root under 3 RT by M and we got this value. So 3 value we know, this constant, R also we know, T also we know, and M also we know. We have done this thing here, which is 1351.69 centimeter per second. So this is your answer. Now moving on to next question. What is question number 7? Question number 7 says that the wave function of some metal is listed below here. Okay. The number of metal which will show photoelectric effect when light of 300 nanometer wavelength falls on the metal is. Your metal wave functions are for lithium, it is 2.5 electron volt with your wave function. Sodium 2.3 electron volt. Potassium 2.2 electron volt. Magnesium 3.7 electron volt. Copper 4.8 electron volt. Silver 4.3 electron volt. Iron 4.7 electron volt. Platinum 6.3 electron volt. And tungsten 4.7 electron volt. So correct options are, your options are A 2, B 4, C 6 and D 8. Clear? So you have 10 seconds to solve this question. Your time starts now. Okay, now let us see the solution. So what are we given? So we are given that the light is having a wavelength of 300 nanometer. So what we have to see, that how many metals of this out of this will show you photoelectric effect. Okay, so let us see. So first of all, the correct answer is B. The correct answer is B. So if you calculate the value of E using this 300 nanometer, then you will get this value as 6.626. Just putting this value into 10 to the power minus 34, 3 into 10 to the power 8, 3 into 10 to the power minus 9, and 1.602 into 10 to the power minus 19. We have put all these values here, right? And that will give you 4.14 electron volt. Okay, so this is the energy of photon. Now for photoelectric effect, this value should be greater than the wave function value. So if you just look at that, go back and look at the table, you will find that for this element, that is lithium, sodium, potassium and magnesium, your energy of this photon is greater than the work function of these four elements. Clear? Which is energy of photon is where how much? It is 4.14 electron volt. Clear? So this is your answer. Moving on to next question. Next question says that a 25-watt bulb emits monochromatic light, yellow light of wavelength 0.57 micrometer. So what will be the rate of emission of quanta per second? Options are 7.17 into 10 to the power minus 19. Option B 0.717 into 10 to the power minus 19. Option C 1.7 into 10 to the power 19. And option D 7.17 into 10 to the power 19. So you have 10 seconds to solve this question. Your time starts now. Okay, now let us see the solution. So it is saying that the question is saying that we have a 25-watt bulb. So which is emitting what? It is emitting monochromatic yellow light, and its wavelength is also given. Okay, so what will be the emission of emission in terms of quanta per second? So the correct option is first of all 7.17 into 10 to the power minus 19. Now what is E in this case? So it is E S. It is simply SC by lambda. Your lambda is given, H we know and C we know. So we put these values here, which will give you 34.86 into 10 to the power minus 20 joule. Okay, so we have converted this thing also in multiplying by 10 to the power minus 6 will give you your meter value of this this lambda. Okay, now what we know about watt or power, it is simply number of photons emitted into energy of photon. So this is called your what? This is called your watt or power. If you just equate this, then what will be the number of photons? This is written 25 here. Okay, so this thing is given, 25 value is given. Number of photon that is emitted, it's to be calculated, and your energy of one photon is 34.86 into 10 to the power minus 20. So that will give you number of photons is equals to 25 by 34.86 into 10 to the power minus 20. Upon doing the calculation, we get it as 7.17 into 10 to the power minus 10 to the power 19 per second. So this is your final answer. Clear? Okay. Moving on to question number 9. Question number 9 says that the critical wavelength for producing the photoelectric effect in tungsten is 2600 angstrom. So this is your wavelength. So what wavelength would be considered to produce photoelectrons from tungsten having twice the kinetic energy of this produced at 2200 angstrom? Options are 1800 angstrom, option B 1907 angstrom, option C 1926 angstrom, and option D 2015 angstrom. So you have 10 seconds to solve this question. Your time starts now. Okay, now let us see the solution. So first of all, let us try to understand the question. So it is being said here that the critical wavelength, your wavelength is given for the photoelectric effect to occur, which is 2600 angstrom. So it is being asked that if we just focus the light which has 2200 angstrom wavelength, then what will be the kinetic energy of the photon that is produced? So the correct option is B, which is 1907 angstrom. How will solve it? So the basic idea before going into the solution, the basic idea for solution is the energy which is used to plug the electron is equals to the work function. So that much energy will be consumed in just plugging. Rest of the energy that the the electron will gain will be the kinetic energy. So we will calculate the work function first of all according to this value 2600 angstrom. So the formula is very simple. It is h nu naught is equals to sc by lambda naught. So that is the formula for calculating the energy if your wavelength is given. So that value is considered as lambda 1 and it comes out to be now so first we have calculated it for 2200. Okay, so we have calculated for 2200. Then we have calculated for 6000 also, and we are putting both of these values here. Clear? So 1 by lambda 1 minus 2600, 2 multiplied by 1 by 2200 minus 1 by 2600. Upon doing this, we get this value of lambda 1, which is finally 1907 angstrom. So this is your correct answer. So with this, we have completed the 9 questions. Thank you.